So before coming to Christ, I used to be a very ugly person. I was always angry, resentful. I had no respect for anybody. And after coming to Christ, I don't see that in me anymore. My name is Melissa, and I was born here in Yuma, Arizona. I've been coming to the Vertical Church since July 2018. I was raised by a single mother. My father went to prison when I was 7, so I had him a little bit in my life, and after that, I haven't seen him. So since my mom was always working, I got to do whatever I wanted. I hung out with gangs and stuff, and I started using substances at around 8 years old. I started getting into harder substances and giving myself to older men because I always had like this empty feeling in my heart, but it could never get filled. I got into a deep depression and I tried to commit suicide. I took a bunch of pills and I survived. I had my first child at 23, and as soon as I had him, I had postpartum depression, so I neglected him right away, and I began my substance use as soon as he came out. His father and I split, and I got with someone else, and our relationship revolved around using substances and ended up getting arrested. And my son ended up getting kidnapped. I got him back, but when I got out of jail, instead of going and comforting him, I made sure that nobody stole my dope. I found out I was pregnant again, and I needed money to support me and my kids. I went from using to selling. My addiction got harder because I had all the money at my fingertips, and I had put my son in a bunch of danger. The money that I was making made me not care. I knew I needed to get sober because I was about to give birth. If it would have came out with drugs in the system, I would have got both kids taken away. Started planning to get sober, but I couldn't. I was just a slave to the drug. And they ended up sending Department of Child Services. And when they sent them, I got scared because I didn't want nobody to take my kids away. So I um I went and I hid from them. I was just taking a drive one day and something inside me, I wasn't hearing a voice, but it was like, go to church, go to church. And I just could feel it. That's when I saw the vertical sticker on the back of a car that was driving. I said, okay, maybe I'll try that. The first time I came to vertical, I was high, losing my mind, hallucinating everything. I didn't want to be here because I was high, but I knew I had to be here. I knew this was going to be my last chance, if anything. And when I listened to the word was on trusting Jesus in the storm. I decided to give my life to Jesus. That moment, I felt all the hate, shame, guilt, and failure leave my heart, and I felt peace and love, and I felt that emptiness that I always felt. I felt it filled for the first time. So after giving my life to Jesus, I went home that day and I told my son things were gonna be different, and he could see the change in me, and he prayed, "Thank you, God, for making my mom good again." That's when I knew that this was the right choice for my addiction. My son, he lashes out. He has PTSD, but we've been through counseling and therapy, and there was a lot of times I blamed myself that I ruined him. But my kids love Jesus. They they know that's their father, just like that's my father. Um, sorry. Since coming to Vertical, I've accomplished many goals. I started working, gaining full time employment, and helping others. I was able to start renting my own place. I'm working on becoming a homeowner by next year. I started to meet people, and they would invite me to their small groups, and I got to meet a lot of people that in my heart I know I could trust. I still have my hard days. I get anxiety, I get depression, but this time instead of going and picking up a substance, I deal with it with prayer. or with reading my Bible, I get uplifted and I'm able to overcome. A lot of times we turn to substances because we feel that emptiness inside us, and Jesus is the only one that can complete you. He's the only one that can fill that up.